Let's see. Stocks are up. Ooh, seems they're making a memorial for the 3,000 volunteers who fought in California. Well, I'm happy to see that. Let's see. The exile of the liberals are going just fine. Very happy for that. And the atomic testing. Why does that seem familiar?
Alright, Al, we have the next review ready to go.
Yay?
Al, are you okay? What were you doing?
Just reading some news is all. Yes, that's all I'm doing.
Ah, staying up to date with the stocks, I see. Well, the Ruger review is ready to go whenever you're ready.
Gas mask man, you seem different.
What do you mean different, Al?
Did you get a new hat?
Why, yes, I did get a new hat. I got it from the Hat Emporium.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Well, hell, let's get this review underway then.
Yes. Yes, you should.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, AirsoftAL. Welcome to another episode in Affordable Gas Gun Month. Today we are talking about a pistol that, in reality, is kind of interesting. In a weird way, is a commercial flop, but in the airsoft world, we don't really see a lot of, and to be fair, there should be more of. I am, of course, talking about the Ruger P345. In the clamshell box, you actually get the pistol itself, which is rather nice. It's a non-blowback design. It's definitely modeled after the Ruger, which I definitely do like. And it does use the same style of magazine as the, well, combat zone pistol and the Bursa 9, which means you can, let me grab the Bursa 9 over here, let me grab the extra mag over here, actually use this style of stick mag inside the pistol. Rather nice and rather good for cross compatibility. Just go ahead and put this down here so it actually is up very nice. But yes, besides that, you do get a bag of .2 Umarexusa. Once again, another bit of promotion for the Mag 9, which is a MP9 AEP. And, of course, Elite Force BBs. Some paperwork we don't care about. And, of course, the manual for the gun itself, which, if you're a dummy, I would recommend you actually do read the manual. Anyway, back to the review. Now, what is the P345? Well, it is actually a successor to the P85 series of pistols. The P85 is coming around 84, 85. Ironically being called the P85s. The Ruger P85s, however, were a little bit more rudimentary. They were basically based off of the Browning design, but just made in their own way. So, around the early 2000s, Ruger decided to reboot the P series of pistols that they had into the P3s. The P3s coming around 2002, 2003. However, the Ruger P345, while initially being warm on reception, started to go lukewarm when the years went on. So far, the information I've found says that they're discontinued and no longer making Ruger basically P3 pistols, or at least the P345. And those you can find, people have actually started to talk about how to fix them. And the majority of the reasons why the P345 was supposedly a failure was because loading issues. I'm not even joking when I say that the most common complaint I could find about the pistol was that each time a certain amount of rounds, after firing a certain amount of rounds, the 45 ACP round would either be completely horizontal and lock right into the mechanism right here, or would not even load correctly and would cause a failure or jam. Thankfully, there was a fix. The fix being that it was the actual spring itself, or at least the guide rod spring. What they would do is they change out the stock spring for either a 12-pound or a 15-pound spring. Supposedly, this is what actually helped out the pistol and made it much more, made it a lot better for the actual pistol itself and made it work a lot more smoothly. And so far, that's the most reasonable fix, and that has worked in for a lot of people who actually own Ruger P345s. However, what's sad is that we do not have a gas blowback version of this gun. We do have this, which of course is the non-blowback version and does retain a lot of features of the Ruger P345, but we do not actually have a gas blowback P345, which in reality would be very nice to have. But sadly, we don't have it, so But the question is, does the non-blowback actually hold up to the, well, real steel? And is it worth the price tag that it's asking? Well, that's what we're here to answer, and I say, let's get into it. The pistol itself actually it's honestly really good. I like this style of Picatinny rail. It's got this nice contour to it. The grip, I'm happy to say, is probably the most comfortable grip I've ever held in my life, but then again, that's a Ruger. The majority of Ruger pistols are probably the most comfortable handguns you can hold outside of a Colt or a Winchester. And even then, it's very rare to find a Winchester. So the second best bet I can compare the comfortability of this pistol to would probably be a Smith & Wesson. But then again, that's about as close as I can get to it. No, I'm not saying a damn thing about Beretta. No, I'm not saying anything else. I'm talking about good old-fashioned American handguns, not foreign handguns. Fuck off. So yeah, it's a great contour. It feels amazing to hold. And the sights themselves being fiber optic, well, you can replace the fiber optics. And that's about it. There's not a lot to say about it outside of, well, it's got the safety right here, and the magazine is your standard modified stick. Because, here's the thing, this base plate, you don't need it. You can actually take it out and you can use it. But what's cool about it is that you can take this out and you can use standard stick mags with it. I mean, you can buy more of these, yes, but in reality, standard stick mags would be cheaper and they would actually work just the same. However, I hear you saying, but how do we access the CO2? Because again, this is a CO2 non-blowback. Well, how you do that is you pull back the grip, much like a lot of CO2 revolvers. It's a little stiff, but a little bit of lubing will help. And then you just pop it in there. Outside of that, there's really not a lot to talk about with this handgun. I mean, that's really it. And believe me, I would have some gripes, but the best thing about it I can say is that it improves on non-blowbacks, specifically in the trigger discipline area, or at least the trigger area, because when you pull back on non-blowback, you expect a heavy trigger pull. This one, ironically enough, has a light trigger pull. It's not heavy, it's not stiff, I can easily, well, ow. I mean, it's still that straight pullback, but it's much lighter, which means you do have faster trigger discipline. I mean, I don't have the best trigger in the world. I don't have the best finger banging trigger in the world when it comes to actual like non-blowbacks. I'm gonna leave that to the MK23 boys who actually have that. But I will admit it's definitely good. Once again, saying gripes as before on missed opportunities here, such as an actual integrated slide safety, a non-blowback style hammer mechanism. But again, for the price tag it's asking for, I can completely understand. But we'll talk about that after the range test. And yes, ironically enough, this review is going to be a little shorter because there's not a lot of gripes to talk about it. I mean, believe me, the orange tip getting off is a pain in the ass, and in reality you're going to want to shim that down, but that's about it, really. So yeah, let's get to the range, and then we'll talk about this a little further. Alright, we have our chronograph and our nice little non-blowback, low 0.2s, new CO2, fresh thing of CO2. Let's go ahead and see what the FPS is. Didn't read. I don't know why it's not reading. There we go, 350. 348, 355, and empty. So on the ones we were getting, it was reading around the 340, 350. So it's well within the CQB limits. So that's actually pretty good in my opinion. Now, if we are to go by the chronograph's reading, it's saying it has 159 foot reach. Well, since this thing has a fixed hop-up, we will see about that. So, let's go ahead, get slowed up, get outside, and let's shoot the barn, shall we? Here we are, roughly 60 feet out, and, well, we're going to see how this does. I am giving it the benefit of the doubt, and we're starting at 60, and then we'll go back a little bit further. Okay? Okay. No. Let's get a little further up, shall we? Here we are roughly 50 feet out. Will it hit? Yes, but sadly it is severely curving them down. So, yeah, 50 feet's about roughly the best you're going to get, even with the crosswind we have going on right now. Like, it is seriously hopping the BBs bad enough to where it is going down heavily. I'm not even joking, it's just like that. It's pretty bad. I mean, even then, I mean, that one just... It's a hit and miss with some of the BBs. Like, yeah, no. 50 feet's about the max you're going to get out of these. And that's sad in my opinion, because this is actually a pretty good gun design. Like, it is honestly, the grip's honestly really good. Everything about this screams that it should be good. But you know what? Let's get back to the studio and I'll give my full thoughts on this, okay? Okay. First, one thing I hate to say is the whole stigma of it's a bad design in the real steel world, meaning it's probably not going to work in airsoft. And I don't like that saying, nor do I like that stigma, because in reality, that kind of stigma is what causes companies to rethink whatever they're doing. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a cool design. I like it. The fact it's actually based off the Browning design and tries to stay faithful to it, much like the Browning High Power, how it, in reality, even when its newer versions, just stays the same of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Then they should have done that with the Ruger. But, as much as I hate to say it, I'm afraid this one does face the same problems as the real steel does. It's just bad feeding issues. Or not really bad feeding issues, just performance issues. Best way I can describe it is, in reality, it's great. It's hyped up. It's a Ruger. It's the best fucking thing ever. When you get it and you actually start messing with it, and the cracks start showing. Ruger, in my opinion, is kind of like an old city. It was great in its heyday. It still has great virtue, has great things about it, but if you look a little closer at it, you're going to see the cracks and the potholes and everything about her. For the price tag this thing's asking for of $30 still, even around the $30 price tag, it's okay. I mean, if you want it because, hey, you know, we don't have a lot of Rugers in Airsoft, and this is probably the only Ruger P345 we're probably ever going to get in Airsoft, you know what, I say get it if you're a Ruger person, and believe me being a Ruger person as well, I love Ruger, I love the rifles, I love their pistols, I especially fucking love their shotguns. But this just seems like a disappointment to me. A missed opportunity. And to any company out there, besides Umarex, who actually makes this, and I hate to say it, anyone out there, KWC, G&G, any other company that makes a good gas blowback pistol, please give the Ruger P345 a chance. We could really use it in Airsoft. But it's not what you're here for, is it? No. You're not here for some soliloquy or some metaphoric usage of a gun comparing it to cities like, oh, say, Niles. Now, you want to know the score I'm going to give this. Well, with the performance it's got, the price tag, the fact it's the only one of its kind right now, besides a Springer, which is made by Double Eagle, that we're never going to talk about, and I hope to God we never talk about, it gets no more, no less than a 7 out of 10. It's a decent gun. For $30, it's definitely not wasting your money. It's definitely not throwing your money away. It's definitely not wasting it. In my opinion, this is a handgun that you want to get if you're a Ruger person, or if you actually own a Ruger P345 and you fixed it and you think you can actually fix this one with its problems. Or you just like Ruger handguns in general and you want to add this to your collection. And I say go right on ahead. Anyway, thank you all for watching. As always, I've been AirsoftAL, and you know what? Umarex also makes something that's around $30, and it's actually something we rarely see about or talk about in Airsoft. And you know what? I say we talk about it. Till next time.